Hello, Mech fans. This is Duncan Fisher. Hold on firmly to your mana potions, fireballs, and familiars, because you are tuning in to your regularly scheduled episode of the First Circuit Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the First Circuit Podcast number 85,000. This is Lars, your casual mech warrior speaking, and this week as well we have Biter.
Larg.
And an Oldbob 10025.
Hello, everybody.
Alright, so for this week's topics, we'll be discussing, first off, is going to be a passing of a popular streamer from Mechwarrior Online of BigJohnGaming. Then afterwards, we'll be getting into the meat and potatoes, which will be the MechDays daily challenges and sales, some mechs that are going to be released for C-Bills and MC, and of course, a later announcement of the future of Mechwarrior Online and a possible tweet from Russ that might actually give us some insight.
We learned on May 4th that prominent gamer in the Mechwarrior community, BigJohnGaming, has passed, and we want to give our condolences out to his family members and everyone else who actually knew him. Now, myself, I didn't really know him per se. I pretty much, we host each other, rated each other sometimes, and then I did watch a lot of his, well, actually, like some of his stuff, but he did PUBG, which I'm not really too keen on PUBG, but he also did Mechwarrior Online, which I did watch sometimes. And he definitely touched a lot of people, because if you could just read his Twitter posts, and read, basically everyone, all the prominent streamers, all the people that are out there get the condolences for him. And because he is part of a big family of Mechwarrior Online, or Mechwarrior, or Battletech like itself, we're all big family members within the huge macroverse of the internet and of the gaming community. And so this is really good that we all came together, kind of give condolences to the family themselves. And then also, he does have a GoFundMe page. I'll get that in a second here. He does have a GoFundMe page for his cremation services. So if you guys can, definitely give as much as you can to go help out with the cremation services, and then also to help out the family, because I know any passing of a family member is really harsh and hard, and that little support definitely does help them.
All right, and yeah, so we have more events, like the usual events on the weekends, but now we got daily challenges, which has been interesting, because the daily challenges makes you choose certain mechs now for a day, because, daily challenges. Now I know I'm really not putting a lot of time into this, but I mean, have you guys been doing the challenge at all?
Well, so far only 2 days, basically. That's all I've been doing.
As of recording,
yes.
Yeah, as of recording, 2 days. But I know, because the first day was you had to use a commando, an adder, a wolfhound, or a general QC, and actually these do end in 10-day chunks. It looks like too.
They did. I like it and don't. Basically, I hate it because you got to use certain mechs and get a kill or game DD for a lot of these things, and then I love it because it's they're really easy to do. I mean, I think day 3 is get over at a 50 match score. You just walk on the field and spit in the general direction. You get 50 match score, and you get a locket. Yeah, cool. Just whatever. It's a locket, cool. But at least you get something cool. Something there to go off and do what you got to do. The only thing I don't like is on day 11, I think it is. Day 11 has do all these different things, but you have 1 day to do it, or I'm sorry, 3 days to do it, which kind of blows. Accumulate 1,000 match score, then it goes all the way up to 5,000, 7,000 match score. That starts to get annoying, and you really got to play a lot of time. Sometimes you only get 250, so it's you're looking at several games, you get 7,500, but you get 500 like MC, you get a crap ton of stuff. But it's a grind. The constant events, constantly doing things but that's how they get you hooked. They get you hooked and go play these games to play every single day. That's what these are there for, and I understand they want to go do that kind of stuff, but I don't know. That's just my own take on it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice daily for those people out there who might be a little bit of space poor, or they might want some extra
space bucks.
Space bucks, So it's good if you want to get some MC premium time and some cockpit items. This is probably one of those things where I'll just kind of go through them just a la carte and then log in on the days of the ones that I want, which I think like a lot of them, like they're premium time, but those are the ones you need to use. Like certain mechs, I'll probably end up skipping those ones.
Yeah.
But the ones that might give me like a free Warhorn, those are the ones I'm probably gonna pop into. Really.
So, to give some context about this event, it initially was you only had 24 hours per day to do each daily challenge, which is why they are so small. That's why for day 2, it is just, day 3 is get 50 match score and play a single match because you only had 24 hours. But they have extended all the days
Yeah.
to a same endpoint. So that again, it means you just wait until the last couple of days and then you do all of it at once. Which, in some ways, why do this delayed challenge? Just have all the events at the start. But as it is, at least I imagine, the person who's making this thing, they wanted to do every day a different challenge, and people said, "I don't want to come back, 11 days in a row for little tidbits." So they've extended a lot of the timeline. But yeah, the last day, day 11, indeed, that's a lot of match score. And the reward's pretty good. Like at the very end, 500 MC. If you do every week's event and you get 500, 1000 MC or whatever each time, you're actually earning yourself towards lots of hero mechs and premium items in the game. It's always good. But that's a really tough grind for the last challenge. I do like that day 1 does actually give you premium time. It's always good to give premium time away first.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an issue, though. The premium time is most valuable to people who don't buy a mech pack every month, people who are new to the game. At least for me, I really liked premium time when I was new to the game. It gave me a reason to grind up to get my new mech. This one, though, they require you to play 4 different mechs, which you're unlikely to own, and that's for all of the premium time earning things. You need a vast staple of mechs to do this, unless you want to suffer and use the trial mechs.
You could use the trial mechs for that, though, to go ahead and do it. That's what I did yesterday, to go ahead and get the trial mechs. I suffered and used a clan mech. I had to wash myself clean of the filth that I had to use a clan mech, but I had to do it just to get the premium time.
Yeah, but also not to mention too is that on these days where mainly you do have to use certain mechs, those mechs are also in sale, or they're on sale.
Yeah.
In the store. So currently we have the Commando Adder, Wolfhound, Jenner 2C are on sale.
And I'm triggered. I'm triggered again. I'm triggered again. Jesus died for your mech sins on day 10. Destroy 1 UAV. So pissed. My God. My God. I got to fight 11 guys and hopefully the other team drops a UAV on that day. Or on those, 2 days, I have to get this done. In those 2 days, I had to play to get. Well, I don't have to play. Don't get me wrong, but I'm triggered.
Yeah, that's why like a few of these events, I'm very hit and miss. If I get them, great. If not, I'm not gonna sweat it.
Yeah. I don't really care about 10 advanced UAVs. Okay, just whatever. That doesn't bother me. Actually, not getting those.
Yeah. But now, granted, it's just to kind of wrap back around, maybe even just to kind of go over this topic as a whole. It's one of those things where. I don't mind it whenever we are forced to use certain things that might be out of our own realm, but there are times when I do get a little bit annoyed whenever people just kind of go into the game and they don't really know what they're doing because of a new mech. But granted, it's a very teeny tidbit.
There is, like in the early day, like the first day of this event, there was a lot of stock adders waddling about, very confused as to what they're supposed to be doing. There was a lot of free kills on light mechs, I'll give you that. That was kind of fun. And they were good to bully if you're in any, built up mech.
But then if you had them on your team, you're like, shit, I got this adder on my team.
Yeah, and that's going to be more of a problem as you go up in tonnage, particularly like this if you're using trial assault mechs. The trial stalker, that's pretty painful. It's missing 10 armor from its side torsos and has 12 rear armor. It's almost a stock build.
Yeah, but now hopefully, if the people have those mechs already and they're already skilled up, then great. It's not a big deal. That's kind of why I was saying on my end is a very minor nitpick.
Yeah, I think it's nice that PGI listened to feedback and have extended the window so that you're not forced to play every single day for little bits and pieces. It's just this format means it's a real pain to look up all the different requirements and which days you'll be interested in, it's a lot of clicking just to check one little challenge each time. It's much nicer where they just have all the events, from day one, you could start earning towards it. And you can see all of them on one page rather than clicking through 11 separate pages that all start at different times. It's just needlessly complicated, in my opinion. It's still, you want to reduce the hassle for the player.
Yeah,
It's just a simple.
Yeah.
You want to keep these just enticing as possible. Looking through 11 days of challenges, figuring out my schedule and the schedule of the thing. At least in my opinion, that's needlessly complicated. However, much free stuff they're giving. You want to make the barrier to entry as low as possible.
I mean, the locket one, I don't really care about, but
the locket, but the war horns I want. So I'll probably do a quick reminder on my on my Google Calendar. Say play Mechwarrior on these days, so I can get my free stuff, like all the free.
The way it's implemented now, you can just wait till the end and grind several at once.
Yeah,
but that depends if you have free time on that day, doesn't it? I have to open our schedules.
Exactly. I gotta cancel all my plans. All right, so I think going forward though, we could probably start looking at the mechs for C-Bills. So they are releasing mechs for C-Bills now, which is the Vapor Eagle, and for MC, which is the Charger and Hatamoto Chi. So I think we'll probably go over more or less the Vapor Eagle because I know not many people really go ahead and buy the mechs for MC still when they're out there for MC. So I think we'll probably discuss those when those come out for C-Bills later on. Yep. But I think what we want to go over today for you, the viewers at least, if you do not have a Vapor Eagle, maybe just kind of give you a heads up of which ones to really focus on and which ones to get, so you're not just going in blind to buy any of these Vapor Eagles. So which ones do we think could be good to get, guys, on the Vapor Eagle end?
Which one could be good to get?
Yeah, or I guess which one do you own that you may have liked the best? Opinions on the
Vapor Eagle, and which ones would you suggest? Yeah.
Yeah. Bob, Bob, I know it's a clan mech, but have you used it?
I went with the S, which I love the 1S basically. For the simple reason you get a chassis bonus of C-Bills plus 30% because I need space bucks, and then I used 2 ATM-9s, 4 small pulse lasers, and 4 clan machine guns, and it worked out halfway decent. It's not the best thing in the world, but I like it. It's fun. It's fun to go play. It's not like the best super duper duper one like you guys have, but it's still fun to go play. And then I used the what's the one? The RI. I forget what it's called though.
It's the hero.
Yeah, the hero.
Well, yeah, you guys always do the champion and the hero.
Well, actually, I don't. On this one, I'm not. This is a rarity where I'm not doing that on this one.
It's just me. Just me. But I used a clan Lerm 20 and 2 medium pulse lasers and 2 light machine guns, and it worked out okay. It was more of a support mech than like anything else. But I have noticed the Vapor Eagle is one of the best ones to use for to jump snipe with ATMs. It's amazing that it actually gets all these really cool quirks to go ahead and have a jump burn time and everything else. So jump up, fire like ATMs at a certain like angle, boom, jump down, boom, you got a lot of damage done with these types of mechs. So it does work out good for these mechs. But those are the 2 real ones that I used a lot. The other one would be, I think, the 2. The 2? No, actually, not the 2. I forgot like which one it is. Actually, it's been a long time since I played these because it's a clan mech, so don't want to use them that much.
That's fine. Well, I think the one that I would actually probably choose out of all the lot would actually be the Vapor Eagle 3. That's the one I would personally go for, just because of the way the hard points are on it. So on this one, you can load up to be 4 energy, 3 missile, but it's kind of nice because most of the hard points are mostly in the torsos, and you're not having to focus much on the arms. So on the one that I'm running, I'm running just 2 ATM-12s, one in each shoulder, and just actually 3 small lasers all in the torso, and just then just filled it with jump jets. Because for those of you who don't have a Vapor Eagle, this is one of the mechs that they released, and it actually has, I think on all of them, a initial thrust of jump jets plus 15 and a jump jet burn time of plus 15%. So these things can be really jumpy, especially if you just load the max amount of jump jets, and ATMs are still very viable in the game at the moment. And this is kind of nice because you're not having to worry about any of your arm hard points. So you can just kind of jump up, just do a burst of ATMs, jump back down, and you can be a real nuisance on the battlefield out there with that one. So for me, Vapor Eagle 3 for me is the one I would choose.
Yeah, to give a quick overview on the Vapor Eagle, it is quite a big target of a mech, and its arms are very big, very wide, which means they often take a lot of flak when you're running side to side, or if you have a torso twist, you're usually going to get all your damage taken on your arms, and the arms have no survival bonuses whatsoever. So with the Vapor Eagle, yeah, those torso-mounted hardpoints are a lot more valuable than the arm-mounted hardpoints, and therefore there's a lot of variants out there, like the Vapor Eagle A, which has 4 missiles in the arm, which sounds interesting enough. Like 4 missiles, wow! But they're all in the arms, and they fall off very quickly, leaving you with just 1 ballistic and 2 energy. They often have a whole slew of different hardpoints: ballistic, missile, and energy. Usually, though, for clan mediums, you see the most effective bang for your buck is going to be streaks, or if you only have a couple of missile hardpoints like the Vapor Eagle, ATMs. So yeah, the Vapor Eagle 1 and the Vapor Eagle 3 would be the best, the most commonly recommended build mechs to use, because you could shove 2 ATM 12s or 3 ATM 9s in them and use some jump juice, and maybe take a few micro lasers in the side torsos. But with ATM mechs, your whole battle plan is just to use those, to spam out a lot of damage. And if someone gets to point blank range, it's either you're the last mech on the field, or your team's going to hopefully mop that guy up.
Yeah.
The only one, just all of them have the jump jet quirks, which are mostly incidental. The mech can take a large engine size, however, its agility is terrible, so it's not a very good mech to go very fast. Even sadly, the hero, which can take an XL400 and mask, is really clumsy and it has a lot of difficulties making use of that incredible speed it's capable of. A funny exception to all the Vapor Eagles would perhaps be the Vapor Eagle 4. This one cannot take any jump jets, and in exchange, it gets a simple 10%, 10% universal cooldown. This is not so good though when you have 7 energies stuck in the arms, and those are going to fall off quickly. So for the most part, all you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to take 2 ATM 12s in the side torsos, and is it worth giving up jump jets for 10% cooldown? That's the only extra one I would mention.
I don't know. I mean, it looks awesome. Basically, one thing I do like, it has the hand cannon, just like the Battlemaster, the old Battlemasters, where it looks like a handgun basically on the left arm, like each one of them, just like on the Battlemaster has it on the right arm from the original BattleTech. It just looks cool. I love that. I love how they do that, and I wish you could actually just interchange it between arms or pick up guns on the field or something like that. Would be kind of cool, but. It's just interesting.
The thing with that hand cannon is it makes the arms even bigger, which does actually make them nice shields. So sometimes it's fun just to put a single micro laser or a single machine gun in there to make the hand cannon appear, and then it's a much better shield.
Exactly.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a clan battle mech, so that allows you to throw in any engine size you want, any number of jump jets, which is quite a step up from, say, the Huntsman. At least in terms of flexibility. If you really want to shove a tiny engine in the thing and take a lot of firepower, there is one variant with a lot of ballistic hardpoints. You can do that. But for the most part, you want to ape the Huntsman in terms of jump jetting and ATMing, and just be able to fiddle around with your engine and equipment and all that, and not have to put everything in the arms like most clan omni mechs sort of want you to do.
Yeah.
It has a lot of benefits. The big downside to the mech, though, is it has no survivability quirks, and he is quite a tall, wide boy.
Well, yeah, it's not really used.
He is tall.
Yeah, it's not really used for frontal firepower and I'm gonna go take down an assault mech by myself. More of a support, fill in the hole type role. At least I think.
It's a fire support mech. It's just it has to compete with the Huntsman, and the Huntsman, at least, it feels a lot more slender. You're not such a big walking target. With the Huntsman, and whilst the flexibility of being a battle mech is nice, I don't feel too special in the Vapor Eagle, but that's just me. I think a lot of people do quite like it, and it can do a lot of good work with ATMs.
You don't feel special in a clan mech? Come on.
Of course not. They don't have the quirkiness of IS.
or the just tankiness of IS2 sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's part of the quirks in my mind. But yeah.
So, anything else on the Vapor Eagle, guys? Best one would be what would be your number one pick? Then, like, if you only pick one,
Probably the 3.
the 3.
For me, it's the 3.
It's the 3 or the 1, really. I kind of like the 1 for its versatility of hardpoints. Like, I have a build with it: 2 ATM-12s, 4 micros, and 4 machine guns. It's kind of fun having backup. A lot of backup at point blank range. If anyone comes close, you say, "Aha! I have machine guns. I have microbots." But the Vapor Eagle 3 is a better dedicated ATM boat. You're firing more missiles with 9s, and you're firing them out quicker, so it's less vulnerable to AMS. So the Vapor Eagle 3 is a much more consistent ATM boat, as long as you don't care about backup weapons.
Okay.
Or your missile arm falling off.
True. At what, 9 million each? Ooh, that's a lot of space bucks. But you could. When do these things actually go on sale again, or when they normally go on sale?
It will take a while for them to go on sale. PGI, at least with their sales, are usually doing the older mechs, the less commonly played mechs. You don't see the more recent mechs on sale too often, unless they're doing a blanket all clan mechs 50% off, even the Vapor Eagle. So don't expect it to be on sale anytime soon. It does start with double heat sinks, endo steel, and ferro, so you don't have to buy all the upgrades like Inner Sphere. However, the XL330, 330 engine is a bit large for this mech, so you're usually wanting to have to also additionally buy an engine for whatever build you're going for.
Plus, the 1S paint job looks pretty cool. I like the fractal pattern.
Well, also
you have to get through mech packs. You can't buy that.
Yeah,
I know.
You can't get the 1S.
Oh no, you can't purchase.
Can't be like you, Bob.
No,
because the 1S is because you can't get the 1S. You can get the 1, but you can't get the 1S.
Oh my god!
The only way to get the
that.
1S bill is $40, for the collector's pack on Steam. Thing to mention about the hero, it has a hilarious thing that you could go XL400, 58 jump height, and mask. It's got no hard points to really make any loadouts. And if you're equipping all that stuff, your loadout is something like 2 small lasers. Still, you could be a turbo turkey and whip around the field and be a nutter nuisance, or try to be, before your giant hitboxes make you a very dead turbo turkey.
Okay, so any other thoughts on the Vapor Eagle, guys? And then we'll move on to the next subject.
Vapor Eagle 1 or Vapor Eagle 3.
Yeah.
Both have their interesting quirks with their hardpoints. On average, just I'd say the Vapor Eagle 3.
Okay.
And don't get the hero, please do not. It's a poor little boy. It needs some more quirks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just an agility-based stat line increase to make it the agile Vapor Eagle.
Yeah, so Russ put out a tweet just kind of mentioning to everyone out there who's been kind of curious about the game and what's happening, because there's been some speculation of the game slowing down a bit. But he did mention, quoted here on Twitter, "So, I have been working on a lot of moving pieces, but we are going to have a live developer update on May, probably Friday the 24th. So, pretty much on the 24th, we're waiting for this update. It's going to be a live update, it looks like. So, some sort of probably on Twitch, some sort of live stream. Maybe you can chat with them. But we're curious to know what it's going to be about, because there has been some slight speculation, because there really haven't been many mech packs announced, since those are usually announced almost once a month. It's been a while, so people have been out there asking them, and hopefully we get something good out of it.
Yeah, it's been quite interesting. We haven't had the last mech pack was announced in March, so we should have had one announced in April, and we're still all the way, a third of the way into May or so, and still no mechs announced. So there's a big window opening up where there's no new mechs actually coming up, and it's it gives you the feeling somewhat the game isn't being planned to be supported in the long run. I forget honestly what they said in the roadmap. The last I remember the roadmap was that them just talking about, well, we're going to do some of that faction warfare changes, and in my mind, the faction warfare changes, all they need to do is increase earnings by 10% and leave all the other stuff alone, and we'll be good. And so that feeling of them not really supporting the game, or at least not pushing it in a good direction at all, is quite strong, at least in some ways. There's some mutterings, and so it's good to hear that there's this podcast coming out, but sort of with the big announcement podcasts before, they sort of record it and then take a month or two to actually put it on YouTube, which is going to be a hell of a wait. And by that point, there will be many mech packs behind, but still. Yeah, we really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. PGI, aren't they secretly working on some big thing like, the tech update or Solaris? They usually like to go, quite a fair bit down the development road. You want to announce it only a couple months before it goes live, because that's the best way for hype, rather than telling people, months and months and months and months in advance, something like, we're going to update Faction Play, and, everyone's like, oh, Faction Play, and they're talking about it for like half a year before at the end they just say, okay, here we are. It's not very much.
Yeah, then it slowly just ekes out. And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about this thing.
Yeah.
Well, around this time, though, I think last year they actually did announce MechCon and all the different things about it. So they might be doing a MechCon like announcement. As far as Faction Play, please God, let there be more crap than just a little tiny storyline. Please, 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 to make Faction Play work. But yeah. Around this time, MechCon, they mentioned a bunch of different things. Faction Play, they've been working on it for the last couple months, trying to get it working or done right or something like that. But like you said, 10% would actually do a big help for Faction Play. And I guess for future mech packs, because they have the Dervish. No, it's the Rifleman 2Cs coming out this month, and then next month is the Dervish, right?
This month, it's not just the Rifleman 2C, it's also the Mechwarrior 5 pre-order bonus mechs.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be coming out. We'll be discussing that hopefully next week, next patch. But then after that, it's just the Rifleman 2C.
Yeah, okay.
And after that, we have no idea of what's coming. And that's kind of the thing. It's like only a couple of months of content planned ahead.
Well, for a small company, they got to, I guess, prioritize stuff. Mechwarrior 5 will be coming out, in September, I believe, right? I think it's
something
like
that,
yeah. So they're finalizing MechWarrior 5, making sure it's run right. They're working on faction warfare. They're working on the different mechs coming out for the pre-order that we have, trying to get those out and make sure they're working right with the different animation models. So I mean, they got a lot on their plate, and being a small company that they are, they're doing stuff. I'm not trying to white knight them, but I know how it is for a small company to do that kind of stuff and knock out the big expectations for biggest franchise there is on the planet, BattleTech. But that's just a plug. But
they've always just been quite good about letting community know well in advance the roadmap for which they've been planning for this game. And whilst roadmaps have gotten a bit silly with so many live service games right now, PGI has always been quite good actually with their content delivery plans and delivering that on time. And so it's always it constantly generates buzz or interest, at least to talk about the game, when there's always a mech pack being announced every month. And we had at least 1 month, maybe 2 months of nothing being announced.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe I'm just the outlier of all of it, but I don't mind the not having a mech pack every month.
Yeah, I'm curious what they are planning to do instead, or what this big podcast, what they're talking about. We have to wait and see before final judgment. It's just they have the idea with carrying on with the mech packs is obviously just they have a monetization model that seems to have worked for quite some years thus far, and why are they discontinuing it or slowing down on it? I mean, I understand after MechCon, they don't release a mech pack after MechCon, but right now there's I guess it's Mechwarrior 5 they're working on, of course, yes, but still.
And I guess kind of like what Bob was saying too, is like, I think for the size of this company, I think they might be pulling themselves a little too thin if they're trying to do the prime development or the wrap up of a brand new game and to get that hype going, while still trying to keep their first baby still alive kind of thing. So I guess my prediction for the future is that I could see him having a slight lull with MechWarrior Online, just to make sure MechWarrior 5 has a good release to get it out there, so that doesn't just flop on its face kind of thing. And then I could see it maybe balancing itself out once both games are out and going.
I do agree with you on that, and if they actually, put a lull on MechWarrior Online and put the resources for MechWarrior 5, make sure they have a successful launch. Unlike some companies, Bethesda, I think it might be a good idea to go ahead and do that, instead of just doing a disaster for MechWarrior 5. For a small company, they'll actually, if they make a disaster, it's going to really affect their bottom lines. And so they want to make sure they're doing stuff. And so I don't mind if they're kind of, we're not going to make mech packs, but we're going to be working on some other things. So I don't mind that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And and there's that. And then also, let's think back to the most recent patches as well. We got a new map, which was that snow map, which they're, of course, will be fixing in the next patch coming up. So, we had some development for a new map. We had development of bringing back the older maps with different landscapes. So that was something else they were working on. So I would say that, even though there haven't really been many mech pack announcements, I wouldn't really discount them and say that they haven't been doing anything at all. There have been things that have come out like maps, which personally, I would rather have new maps than new mechs, just because we have so many mechs as it is. I think there's a lot to work on. Granted, I do know, and people will probably comment and say that maps don't get you money, which is true.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I do see the importance of getting mech packs, but I would rather them focus on MechWarrior 5 to make sure the game does come out on time, make sure the game does come out properly, and then balance themselves out once both games are out. That might be how it comes out, and if it is, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, plus also MechCon as well, too. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, my counterpoint a little to that would be that PGI has a good steady source of income, or at least I assume a good steady source of income in MechWarrior Online, and they've already delayed MechWarrior 5 before, so it's a question of obviously the last few months is crunch, and you do want to get it out the door, but you don't want to give up your main source of income and just sort of leave it by the wayside when that works and you're already doing well off it, rather than putting all your eggs in one basket that's not yet even delivered yet.
Very true. But I would hope that they're a smart enough company that they would have some sort of money laid aside. So kind of like, in your own personal budget kind of thing for those of us who have money, student loans, bullshit. But anyway, if we actually had, so I would assume as a company, they would have some money set aside planned ahead. So if they do take a break, they're not going to go for broke kind of thing. I would hope that if they've had mech pack sales and MechCon sales and all that they would have a buffer to not produce major content for a few months, but maybe have one or two packs scattered, not one every single month.
Yeah,
that's what I would hope.
Yeah, yeah.
At least in the current economy and climate, it's there's not that many lenders and whatnot, so that's why there's always issue with doing big investment development. That's why a lot of game developers are, of course, leaning towards continuous development. Steady stream of income, live service games. It's really hard to actually find the investment to settle down and develop a big game for a couple of years. People aren't making those kind of investments right now, so people don't usually actually have that kind of money. I don't know, obviously, exactly PGI's situation and whatnot, but I'm a little skeptical that they have a pot of money that's sitting on ready to go on. The current economic situation is
they're like little leprechauns.
Yes. Yeah, the current economy.
Russ is like,
my gold, mine. Sorry.
Yeah, the current economical situation, though, does favor more MechWarrior Online models than MechWarrior 5 game models, or at least that's where a lot of the market is right now, and it's much more of a risk to make a MechWarrior 5 type title. In the end, though, all it is 1 month of sort of no mech pack, and hopefully this podcast will come out and sort of address the issues and whatnot. But it does at least hoist some questions of what PGI is doing. It's always good, at least if they are more communicative, so we don't have all these speculation bouts going on.
Yeah,
exactly. And then, of course, speaking of like mech packs and patch days, they have not released the patch notes, right, for the next patch day, correct?
No.
Okay.
That should come out next Friday or so, because they're always, put it till fairly late. But they don't release patch notes a week or two before.
Yeah, usually it's on Fridays, basically, and then we kind of look it over and go, okay, this is cool, this is not, this is good.
I'm still waiting for them to press the undo button on all the AMS changes. That's all they need to do to help.
That's all they need to
fix
do
all
to
the balance.
out.
To balance the game right now, and they didn't do it. They didn't manage to find the undo button last time, but they found something better, which was like 1/10 of the undo button.
Because dear God, that the AMS is strong right now.
Particularly against SRMs and streaks. Those weapons, just like ATMs, have relatively few tubes for the tonnage invested. Particularly if you're talking IS and IS streaks in particular, and they're slow moving. And for some reason, ATMs keep getting help bus and SRMs do not. Does not make a lot of sense to me.
So, anything else, guys? Okay, I guess not.
More or less, wraps it up. We were a little keen perhaps to discuss Charger and Hatamoto Chi, but that makes more sense when it's out for seatbelts.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, I think that wraps up this week's First Circuit podcast. As always, thank you for tuning in, be it on the SoundCloud or YouTube. Make sure to check all of us out on our different social medias, which will probably be linked somewhere down below. Just go ahead and check us out, and we will see you next week.